So hang in there, folks. We've covered a lot of ground today. We are nearing the end, and my section will be short, so we're almost there. I'm going to briefly do some live demonstrations of the a newish feature in the extracts where you can retrieve the extract via email. We'll step through the EOY roadmap, and we'll talk about some enhancements to the SSID matching tool. Starting with the extracts, uh, some of you have already found this already, but it's new since we last met with you at these regionals. When you're requesting an extract, we now have this little box that says email results when done. It defaults to the user email address that you're logged in as. When you request the file, an email will be sent to you when it's complete with a hyperlink that will link you back to this page where you can download the results. It is available on all extracts on this screen. So we'll talk about the one that Sean mentioned earlier under end of year 3. We have a new county authorizing 1.22 report under the supporting report extracts. And if you scroll to the bottom, it's down here at the bottom there. This feature may not be useful or that useful for the smaller LEAs, but I see today that Walter and David from Los Angeles Unified are joining us, Patty from Pomona Unified. Those larger LEAs might find a benefit to this where they don't want to sit on this screen continually refreshing it. They want to request the extract, navigate away, work on other things, and then when they get that email, they know they can come back and download that extract. Next, we're going to go over the end of year roadmap. We typically go through these roadmaps at the regionals, so primarily geared towards newer users that haven't used this before or anybody that's struggled making end of year deadlines in the past. Navigating on the left-hand navigation, we go to Help, User Manual, and right front and center, we have the end of year roadmap. And this page has lots and lots of information, basically everything you could want to know about end of year reporting. It has links to videos, it has the deadline calendar, has the suggested milestones. I wanted to point out up on the left hand here, we have the table of contents where these are all hyperlinks to different areas of the page. So you can go down to end of year and find what's new for end of year 1, click back, maybe you want to jump to your EOY game plan, some suggestions we have for how to approach end of year. Click back again. The one I really wanted to spend some time with you on today is the EOY submission checklist, which is an Excel download that you can retrieve here. I've done so already, so let me retrieve that. It defaults to the suggested milestone page. And Sean mentioned this earlier, but I do want to really emphasize that this July 11th recommended date for 0 errors is really important. It's not something we pulled out of thin air. We worked backwards from the deadline to a point where you would be in a good place to start reviewing your reports. If you have errors, fatal certification errors, CalPADS is telling you that something is wrong with your data. So obviously it doesn't make sense to start looking at your reports until you've corrected that. And even when you are error-free, that does not mean your data is accurate. So you do need some time to let the appropriate people review the reports. Can almost guarantee you that even if you are error-free, some of your counts may not be right. So CalPADS doesn't know that, but your SMEs, your subject matter experts in your different areas, will be able to spot that, and that gives you some time to reconcile those. The next tab is the end of year checklist. This document is kind of a project management tool, and it's meant for you to be able to download yourself. And so enable editing and customize it. This is kind of a starting point for you, but you can add things, you can remove things. We do encourage you to fill out the column that who is responsible for each task, and then periodically meet with your team, maybe weekly, to see how you are progressing, marking the dates completed. But maybe if you're an elementary school district, you might not, you won't reporting end of year 1, so you can remove that or hide those columns. but it just says a lot of things we expect you to do to prepare to have a successful fall end of year submission. And encourage you to put this up on a shared drive somewhere where everybody has access to it. That's on your data management team. And then the last tab, particularly helpful for new users that may not be familiar with all of these subject areas that are covered on the end of year reports. It lists every report that's you're going to be certifying, and then a brief description of what the report is, and then tips on what really to focus on when you're looking at that report. There might be a lot of data you're not quite familiar with, but at least gives you a starting point to determine, where should I start looking and what's important on this report. And the last thing we're going to talk about today is the SSID matching tool. Again, that is not new and it hasn't changed on the front end. So this process of requesting SSIDs in a batch file is still the same. So online maintenance, student data to navigate to it, SSID match tool. Nothing is new here. You still just select a file, upload it. This is where you go to get your bulk SSIDs, so a batch file of many students rather than having to look them up one by one. What's changed is the on the back end, we've spent a lot of time working on this to get better matches. This particular feature launched in August of 2022, and it left a lot of things to be desired. It was not returning the best matches. People kind of got frustrated with it. So we're at a point where we're encouraging you to try again. If you have given up on this SSID match tool, please try it again and let us know if you are not getting matches that you expect or you're getting too many matches. I do want to point out that Flash 296 goes over how the matches are determined. And these are the data elements that are used to find your matches: the birth year, the first name, last name, middle name, birth month, and birthday. And these are ranked in the order of most importance. So the highest value is on the birth year. If that's wrong, you are probably not going to find the right student as a match. First name and last name are also very important, highly scored. And oftentimes when we get tickets on why the matches were not found, it's because the names were conflated. So oftentimes we'll see the first name and middle name in the first name field. That could cause it to be rejected and not found. Sometimes we'll see the middle name and the last name in the last name field. That also could cause it to not be found. So we do have a new training video. Again, I'm not going to do a full demonstration of how the round trip of what this looks like, where you upload it, download the results, put that back in your student information system, make your selections, and send it back to CalPADS. Nate, one of our trainers, did a fabulous job on that. The link is in your PowerPoint, but if you're over on our homepage, just type in SSID match tool on the search, and you'll find these 3 modules. And I believe it's module B that goes into detail on how the scoring happens. Encourage you to watch that. But so basically, it's just our pitch for you to give this another shot and let us know if you're finding any issues with the SSID match tool.
Angela, we've got a quick question. If you can just
Sure.
go over with them how to navigate to the EOY checklist.
Yeah, I was going to say, I often move too fast, so I'm glad somebody asked me that. 1 second, let me get back there. Okay, so EOI checklist, we're going to help and user manual. And the end of year roadmap is going to take you to this table of contents here. And it's the end of year submission checklist. So I do recommend that folks spend some time on this screen. I did cover it quite quickly, but there is a lot of information in here. So explore get familiar with it. It does cover a lot of information. So you may not be able to absorb it all in one sitting, but we tried to have a one-stop shop for you here. Okay, I told you I would be fast. We have our typical slides for resources and training, so I won't go over that. Everybody's seen that page. The couple plugs I want to give for new folks, if you're fairly new to CalPADS, we have 2 listservs. The CalPADS one-way listserv is here, and then That's really important that you sign up for that one because that's how you get all your flashes or any important announcements from the Department of Education. The second one is a CSIS listserv, and it's optional, but it's a two-way listserv, and it gives you the opportunity to talk to your fellow colleagues out in the field, where it may not be a technical question that you want to submit a service desk ticket for, but you want to ask how other districts your size or using your SIS or something of that nature. Maybe you want to post a job. Maybe you have a new CalPADS position that you have open, that type of thing. It's a very supportive community. So I just encourage you to sign up if you haven't already. And then I had one last plug for new folks. Matt already pulled this site up. This is the CSIS homepage, csis.vicmat.org. Under support and support, we have a weekly Q&A session at 3 p.m. You don't need to register. Just if you feel like dropping in, drop in. You can call in at 3:30, you can call at 3:45. Basically, if you have a question where you want live support and you want to talk to somebody, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, this is the place to do it. We have the Department of Education SPED office is there, the CalPADS operations office is there, and then of course the CSIS support folks are there. So some people just call to listen in because they feel like that's a good way to learn. Some people call in, ask a question and leave. There's no requirement that you stay for the full hour. And that was the end of my plugging. Any more questions before we move on?
No questions right now.
All right, hopefully I didn't go too fast for the ASL folks. Sean, back to you with the next meetings.
Thank you, Angela. Just a tidbit that, yes, throughout my tenure, I often did just call into the Q&As to listen, even though if I didn't have a question myself. There is no wrong or right question, and sometimes, field colleagues would provide a question. I was like, "Hey, I hadn't thought of that," but I'd get a very useful answer. So, as Brandy would say, I'm on the dark side now, so welcome to it. For our next meeting updates for May 2025, that will be our next regional. The regionals occur over the 2 days, the May 20th through the 21st. The focus for that meeting will always be the changes for the upcoming school year. So again, yes, we will have more program information for changes that are occurring for 25-26. The registration links are listed there in the PowerPoint. I've also placed them in the chat. If you have not registered for the May regionals, please ensure that you do. We try to ask everyone for a room capacity size to stay within their allotted areas or counties that are attending. However, we understand that if you cannot make it to that meeting, that you do choose the one that is best available for you. And then we will open it up for additional questions that we did not get to answer. We've only got about 4 minutes to be respectful of everyone's time. We will end at 11:30. However, if we can answer additional questions now. Thank you, everyone, for your kudos. We appreciate you as well. And I'll give that one while still reading questions. So before it gets too late, we always like to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your work and everything that you do. We see you, we hear you, we recognize you, and we are here to support you. Continuing with questions, though. How do special characters affect the SSID matching tool? Are they disregarded? For that one, Angela, I'm going to bounce that one to you. From
Yeah,
my understanding, go
I'll
for it.
take it. It's an excellent question, Julia, and it should not impact the SSID matching, but we have had a couple instances where it has, and so we've sent that up as bugs, and they've turned around and fixed that right away. So if you do encounter a problem, please submit a ticket and let us know.
The flash on the CalPAD site 296, when should we expect to see that one? Is flash 296, is that around Sunbucks? Does anybody know that number off the top of their head? 'Cause
296 is the SSID match tool.
that one is posted on the website, and Angela's showing you how to be able to get there now. Thank
I'll
you.
pop it in the chat as well.
Okay, and thank you. That's even more excellent. So Angela will slide that one into the chat. It's already publicly posted. 297 is the Sunbucks flash that has not been posted. That will be posted by the end of next week. Alex, will the May regional meetings be live or Zoom? Regionals are always via Zoom, just because our inner workings. CSIS is a whole team that does not live in our CDE building. So yes, they will be via Zoom. And again, those registration links are provided. Dominic is doing road shows for the SPED offices. Those will be live, and that listing was provided in the slides as well too. For any of the presentations that I can make it to in support of the SPED road shows, I will gladly do so. And I think we have gotten to them all. Thank you, thank you, thank you again for your work. We appreciate you. Until next time, we'll see you later.